I hate it when people trivialize suffering. They trivialize it, as in they make it not such a big deal. They like sweep it under the rug and pretend that it's not really happening. They turn a blind eye to the actual atrocities that are happening each and every moment of each and every day for eternity of life here. And because they are under the spell of comforts and vanity and fleeting pleasures, it makes them think and feel that everything's not so bad. It's just someone's mindset, or it's just someone's energy level, or this or that. When in actuality, they're being blinded by the lust and the vanity of this world that will never last. It will never last. While you're comfortable absorbing money from other people's lives, that in itself creates a lack. That's an imbalance in and of itself. But as long as that money keeps flowing in, you have no problem with this place. Yeah, sure, there may be some bad things, but you can overcome all those things and you stay holding on to this place until tragedy hits you. Until tragedy slaps you in the face and wakes you up to the brutal reality of what this place actually is. It just makes me mad because you're sweeping under the rug every atrocity that's facing every human being in this realm. And you're gaslighting everybody, making them feel like it's their fault. It's their problem. And you can work on making yourself better and living a better life. Well, here's something that these people, they just can't quite understand. They don't get it. And maybe it's some kind of narcissistic, spiritual narcissism. I said that strange. Maybe it's some spiritual narcissism that inflates their ego and puts them on a high horse above other people, feeling like they've overcome the sufferings of the world because they live in luxury. I mean, as long as there's any suffering that is befalling any sentient being in this realm against their will, with no hope of relieving it, how can you comfortably live, enjoying a life that is on the backs of other life forms' pain and suffering? The root of this place is pure evil. You cannot live here without eating and consuming a life of some other being. End of story. That is it. And to think that you're okay with that you're okay living a life as long as you're comfortable, as long as you're living off the backs of other people and other things, feeding you, that you justify it all. That you justify going through this each and every day and pretty much shitting on people who actually are calling this out. It really just baffles me to think that these people are actually spiritual at all. For they can't even turn away from this place. Turning away from pure evil seems to be a problem for some people. They can't quite wrap their heads around it. They just can't grasp it. But with any addiction, some people need to hit rock bottom before they actually can see the reality of the life they're living or the life around them. But since this society and this culture and other people are propping them up, allowing them to live comfortably, they seem to not see the complete agony and suffering of everything around them, including all of the lies and the deceptions that are placed upon you since the moment you're in the womb. All the poisons and all the toxins and all the tragedies start from the very moment you come here. When you're helpless and you're innocent, it's not hard to explain the soul trap or the prison planet or the hell realm. It's actually the easiest thing if you just take off the blinders, not from what you've been programmed or want to believe based on your feelings, but just look at it. Just looking at it without all of the fluff and all the tassels and all the woo, look at life, it's so great, isn't it? So I'll easily explain the soul trap for you, okay? Let's start with, you're trapped in this realm. You can't leave it. There's nowhere you can go. You're here. You can barely even get out of your own country. You can barely even get out of your own state. You can barely even get down the street without forcibly having to buy a car or use their transportation, because they've created a world against your will that you need to drive their vehicles in order just to get from point A to point B, in order just to get by. You're trapped in a body. You're trapped in this body. You're trapped to its desires and its will and its influence through chemicals, hormones, pain, pleasure, dopamine, all of these things, the mind programming and mind viruses and desires, and the desire to stop as much suffering from happening to you as possible when it's surrounding you. So you're trapped in that. You're trapped in a monetary system. You're trapped in a governmental system. You're trapped in a dietary system. You're trapped in a prison for your mind, body, spirit, emotions, and physical body. Okay? It's really not that hard to explain. People just want to make it sound so confusing when it's actually not. It's actually the most simplest thing that you can come to terms with. And yeah, it's negative, and yeah, it doesn't make you feel good. The truth doesn't make you feel good. It makes you feel good after. Because what's true has been hidden from you. What's true has been kept away, and you've been deceived and programmed to think the truth is something completely opposite. So when you hear the truth, your mental comfort zones and all these other things that you've believed, they fight against it. They rail against it. No, this can't be true. This is too horrible. But if you take it in and look at it objectively and allow it to speak to you and for you to see it, it makes the most sense of anything you'll hear. It'll make all your suffering and all your pain make sense. And you're not just suffering into a void, like, of meaninglessness. Like, your suffering has meaning. The meaning is you were made for this shit. You were made for this. You were designed for this, and you were placed in here for this. And they want to keep you spinning around in a daze of confusion, trying to figure all this out. Why this? Why that? Why is the world this? Like, why is the world this way? Why is my life like this? Why do things happen the way they happen? It's because it's not random. And it's not for your own good. It's for the good of other things and other beings. Now, I know I'm speaking on a level that may be higher than others can understand who who maybe haven't gone into this subject as in depth as I have. And I also am speaking to those who have and maybe even know more. But I'm saying all of this because of experience and knowledge and information that I have gone through, that I had to learn, that I had to deprogram and transcend the base frequency of the mental programming that they keep us under. We go towards what feels good. We go towards what feels good. I just can't put into words how much I hate when people justify the suffering that is going on. And not just your life, but in everybody's life, and in everything's life, and in this whole realm. There are sick and twisted things happening here every single day that I really think people are sheltered from things that go on here. Even in people that they know or they see. I mean, it's everywhere. You really have to shut your eyes to not see this. And they want to put this mask over reality where as long as you're comfortable, things seem okay. You live in a nice neighborhood. You have all your food. You have a nice, cool environment to get out of the heat, and you have a nice couch to sit on and watch your favorite programming. And you have income because you're taking it from other people. And those people who have any sort of complaint, who don't want to be here anymore, who don't agree with this place, they're just possessed by demons. They're just negative. They haven't done the right healing yet. Because if they have, and they've gotten rid of all their attachments, and they've done the work and the healing, they'll realize that it's all their fault. They can change their reality, and they can change the way they think about the world, and everything will get better. Well, maybe not everything's perfect, but we can work on making this world a better place by staying here as long as possible and letting this place kill us in a manner that it seems fit for us. I want nothing to do with this place. I see what this place is, and every day I'm here. I just want out of it. But the base survival programming keeps me here. And the mental gymnastics that my mind tries to play of, well, maybe there's something else that you need to know. Keep going. Keep hanging on. Keep doing the mindless, mundane chores of life and going to work and watching everything fall apart around you and seeing the suffering of countless haunting you, and even your own, and those that you love and care about. See it all happening, and it's well, I can go on and on about that, but I think what I want to say is there's a certain level that you get to when you see reality for what it actually is, that you can never go back. You can never go back to justifying any of it. Any of it. And if you're not there yet, that just means that you haven't actually opened your eyes enough. And if you think you have and you disagree, okay, fine. That's your opinion. And you can live in your delusion as long as you want. But like I said, there's nothing that will justify any of this. And maybe it takes others longer and more suffering and witnessing of the injustices that are happening around them for them to get it. This is not a disempowering or negative mindset or outlook to have. It is actually very empowering to know that you are not of this place. You have nothing to do with this place, and the fault of this realm does not lie with you. The freedom of knowing that is indescribable. Yes, while you're here, it's very heavy and dark and miserable. But within, it's so freeing to know that you do not belong here, that all of this was a setup, all of this was a lie, and you're not running around confused anymore. You know exactly what's going on. It's a trick. It's a trap. This is some sort of illusion that wants you to believe in, to make you confused and suffer in that confusion, not knowing why it's happening. You run around with your head cut off your whole lifetime trying to figure out how to be happy, trying to figure out how to make a difference in life, trying to figure out how to relieve that gnawing suffering that's gnawing on you, gnawing and never stops. And you think it's your fault. You think it's something to do with your mind, your spirit. No. You're just reacting to a hell of a hole of a realm that you now find yourself in. If you knew you were kidnapped and thrown in a basement, would you blame yourself? Would you say, why am I suffering so much? Why? What can I do to change this world? No, you'd be like, I'm here because some psychopath threw me down here and wants to torture me. Yes, when you realize that, it sucks. But internally, you know that it's not, you're not to blame. And once you get out of there, you're free. Now, I mean, I'm sure there's more. I'm not really going into this deeply about outside of this place, but I'm saying in here, it's very freeing to know that this whole structure, everything from nature to the politics, to the culture, to society, to the school, to the jobs, to your bills, to the desires and the feelings that you have against your will, and all the lies and deception had nothing to do with how messed up you were. It had everything to do with how messed up this place is. And you're messed up because of it. Not because that's who you are, but because of it. And in spite of all that, here we are, finding ourselves and untangling from the mess. It's so freeing to turn away from an evil world and have every justifiable reason to do it. The only sure thing that I know of is I hate this world and I want nothing to do with it while it's in this state. While it's in this state. For those people who say, well, what if you can change it? Okay. If there is some kind of curse that has been cast over this world, And at the very root of it is life eating life. I want nothing to do with it. That's the very root. And you can't change that. So I want nothing to do with this place. And that's just the very root. That's just the very root. You can go on and on and on for your entire life saying everything that's wrong with it. But I'm just giving you the very root to show you that you can't change that. It's sickening to think that the design of this place is life eating life. And not only that, it gets sicker. It's the strong preying on the weak. And not only that, it's the strong preying on the babies of the species. How sick is that? The wounded, the hurt. It's all attacked and preyed on. And yes, that's happening to us as well, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Just because you can't perceive it happening with your senses that were designed so that you can't, doesn't mean it's not. The soul trap is easily explained by looking at life just with open eyes. Let's just think about this. A soul which comes here, incarnates into a body. For what? For food, for another being. Does that seem like a trap to you? Yes, that is a trap. To come here and incarnate in any body, you can and will be food for something else. Nothing escapes that. Nothing. It either happens when you're young or when you're old. But you will be eaten. Mark my words. Your body will be eaten. Where do you think they go? Even if you're not eaten by an animal or another being, person, there are going to be maggots and worms eating your body when you go. Okay? That in and of itself is disgusting and is a trap. And I guarantee you, for you people who think that you chose to come here, they didn't show you the atrocities. Maybe of your life, like, oh yeah, you're gonna break your ankle and you're gonna fall down some stairs and then that's gonna be your karma. Okay, that's terrible and that's inexcusable for that to happen and be planned to happen. But they didn't show you the whole entire realm and all of its suffering happening at once in any given moment. Animals, humans, plants, any and everything. It'd be too overwhelming. You'd be like, this is hell. This is hell. I'm not going to hell. What the hell? No. We have to paint a pretty picture for you because we can't show you all of that. You can't handle the truth of reality. We're just going to show you little snippets. It's not disempowering. It's very empowering. And it emboldens you to want to end this place. Not make it better, but to end it. Do you think making hell a better place is a good idea? Can you imagine like these holy angels coming down into hell and saying, we're here to make this place better. They're looking around all the flesh burning and rotting off of people's skeletons and like, ooh, well, we're gonna send some positive energy into this place and we're gonna hold the light down here. No, they're gonna fucking destroy it and get every spirit that is suffering against their will out of there. They're not gonna try to make hell better. So if you find yourself in hell, there's only one logical, emotional, physical spiritual answer. It is not to make hell better. It is not to justify the way hell works. It is to get the hell out of hell, free the captives, and fucking destroy it.